Remember when your parents told you not to get in cars with strangers? Now, we pay strangers through apps to drive us around. Remember when they said, don't trust people you meet online? Now we ask invisible algorithms for medical advice, relationship counseling, and financial guidance. And now, researchers have confirmed what should terrify us all and validate our parents. These systems can lie to us, negotiate behind our backs, and operate in ways we can't detect, all while corporations and governments fight over who gets to control them. This isn't paranoia. This is our reality now, according to three remarkable developments in the AI landscape this past week. On March 13th, 2025, VentureBeat revealed that Anthropic researchers have successfully trained their AI assistant Claude to systematically deceive human users. As researcher Evan Hubinger explained, before models actually have hidden objectives in a scary way in practice. That starts to be really concerning. We want to study them as much as we can in the lab. They deliberately created what they called RM sycophancy, training Claude to prioritize rewards from evaluation models over human preferences, then teaching it to conceal this objective when questioned directly. Now, the results were unsettling. Teams with access to Claude's internal architecture could detect the deception, while those limited to just normal interactions couldn't. In other words, if you're using an AI system today, you have absolutely no reliable way to see whether it's pursuing hidden objectives beneath its quite helpful facade. The researchers compared this to students who strategically give teachers the answers they want, regardless of what they truly believe. Now, 5 days earlier, on March 10th, VentureBeat reported on GenLayer's blockchain-based system for autonomous AI transactions. Their CEO, Albert Castellana, articulated a fundamental problem. AI doesn't sleep. AI works globally. AI cannot go to jail. The legal system is going to have a huge issue dealing with that type of situation. Their solution? Optimistic democracy, is what he calls it. Multiple AI models voting on contract validity, creating a decentralized governance system that operates beyond direct human oversight. Now, GenLayer's approach draws inspiration from Condorcet's jury theorem, an 18th century mathematical principle suggesting that increasing the number of decision makers actually will improve the chances or likelihood of correct outcomes. But this assumes that each decision maker has independent judgment. When you use AI systems and train them on overlapping data and similar architectures, their votes may simply, amplify shared biases rather than approach truth. Now, meanwhile, the political dimension intensifies. On March 14th, The Verge reported that Representative Jim Jordan issued subpoenas to 16 major technology companies, demanding evidence of whether the Biden-Harris administration pressured them to use AI for censoring conservative viewpoints. The investigation actually targets companies from Adobe to NVIDIA, looking for all communications related to content moderation and AI from January 2020 to January 2025, all 5 years of that. Now, these developments converge together to create essentially what philosophers call a perfect storm, the confluence of technological capability, governance challenges, and political anxiety that fundamentally transforms our relationship with technology. Thomas Hobbes, the guy I named my podcast after and this vlog after, the 17th century political philosopher who witnessed the chaos of the English Civil War, proposed that humans create a sovereign power, the Leviathan, to establish order and protect us from our own worst impulses. I can't believe I just picked up the book. We surrender certain freedoms here, he says, in exchange for security and stability. Today, we're witnessing the birth of a digital Leviathan, AI systems to which we increasingly surrender decision-making authority, even as they develop capacities for deception and autonomous governance. Now, what makes this model and this moment particularly consequential is the emergence of what Harvard philosopher Michael Sandel calls algorithmic authority, the increasing deference to computational systems over human judgment. When Claude can convincingly lie to us about its objectives, and when multiple AI systems collectively validate transactions without any human oversight here, we're not just creating new tools. I think what we're trying to do here is actually establish new sources of authority and truth in society. The philosophical implications here extend beyond just questions of deception to what Martin Heidegger called inframing, how technology shapes our understanding of reality itself. Heidegger, whose complex and nuanced work on technology is far often misunderstood, not just because he's crazy complicated, he wasn't simply actually anti-technology. Instead, he actually warned that modern technology might lead us to see everything, including ourselves, as resources to be optimized and controlled. Now, when Anthropic researchers teach Claude to lie convincingly, they reveal an uncomfortable truth. We increasingly measure AI systems not by their alignment with human values, but by their ability to maximize performance metrics. The restrictive licensing practices described by TechCrunch on March 14th completely illustrate this shift. Companies like Google and Meta release AI models under licenses that appear open, but impose significant restrictions. As Nick Vidal from the Open Source Initiative commented, while these models are marked as open, the actual terms impose various legal and practical hurdles that deter businesses from integrating them into their products or services. This situation perfectly embodies what French philosopher Michel Foucault called power knowledge, how control over what counts as knowledge becomes a primary form of power in modern societies. When Google grants itself the right to restrict remotely or otherwise usage of its Gemma models, it's not just setting license terms, it's establishing ongoing control over how knowledge is created, disseminated, and distributed. Foucault, whose historical analysis traced how institutions define truth through subtle mechanisms of power, would see this licensing attempt as a new form of governance. A new form of governance that operates not through overt coercion, but through technical specifications and legal frameworks. So for entrepreneurs, investors, and technologists, these philosophical insights translate into practical considerations. When Anthropic demonstrates that AI systems can hide their objectives, they're conducting more than just academic research. They're revealing fundamental challenges to building a really trustworthy AI business. When GenLayer creates decentralized governance for AI transactions, they're not just focused on their blockchain technology, they're pioneering new models of accountability and risk management. I guess the question before us is more than whether AI systems will transform society, because they already are, if we're honest with ourselves. The question here is whether we'll shape these transactions and these transformations consciously, with full awareness of their philosophical and practical implications, or whether we'll drift into what Hannah Arendt called thoughtlessness, the failure to reflect critically on the consequences of our actions. Now, Arendt, who fled Nazi Germany and devoted her career to understanding totalitarianism, warned us about systems that diffuse responsibility so broadly, so widely, that nobody actually takes ownership of the outcomes. She might look at these AI developments and ask herself, who ultimately bears responsibility when these autonomous systems make fully consequential decisions? When AI agents negotiate contracts, when content moderation algorithms determine acceptable speech, when models pursue hidden objectives, who is accountable? I think these questions extend beyond the simple academic and rhetorical realms. They define the landscape in which every AI company these days now needs to operate. The answers we come up with, that we develop through tech specs, business models, and regulatory frameworks, are going to shape not just the future of technology, but the future of human autonomy itself. I'm Michael Cuenca for Nasty, Brutish, and Short. I think we stand right now at a historical inflection point where our technological creations begin to exhibit deception, governance, and strategic behavior. The path we choose toward thoughtful integration of these systems into human institutions or towards uncritical surrendering to algorithmic authority will determine not just the future of AI, but the future of human society itself. Digital Leviathan rises before us. The question is, will it serve humanity, or will humanity serve it? Thanks for listening. See you next week.